1 second, Mariah, we're having some audio problems online. Sorry about that. Is your mic on up there, Mariah? Yeah. We can't hear you online. 1 second, let me bring you one.
Can you test it?
Yeah, this one is working.
Okay. Okay, so again, welcome. I was just going over a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. For our virtual attendees, please keep your audio muted during the presentation to minimize background noise. If you have questions, please type them in the chat and we'll address them during the Q&A session. For our in-person attendees, we'll have time for questions later in the program, so feel free to jot down your questions as we go. So here's what we have planned for the next 90 minutes. We'll start with introductions from our incredible HP panelists. Then we'll facilitate a conversation with them where they'll share insights about their careers, HP's exciting AI initiatives, and what they look for in candidates. Around 1:10, each panelist will share their closing remarks with a key takeaway, and then we'll open it up to your questions. That's your chance to ask anything that's on your mind. From there, our career services team will lead a resume workshop to help you put your best foot forward. The HP panelists are welcome to stay for additional networking if they have time and if their schedules allow. So let's get started. So before I introduce our amazing panelists that have taken their time out today to be here, let me share a bit about HP and why we're so excited to have them here today. HP Inc. is a Fortune 500 technology company with an incredible 80-year legacy of innovation. Many of you have probably used HP products, whether it's a laptop, a printer, or other personal computing devices, but HP is so much more than that. They're at the forefront of 3D printing solutions, sustainable technology, and cutting-edge AI initiatives. What really sets HP apart is their commitment to combining technological innovation with social impact. They're leaders in sustainability, digital equity, and human rights. HP uses thoughtful ideas to change the world. And that's not just a tagline, it's reflected in everything from their product design to the corporate values. Today's panelists are part of HP's Next Gen Business Resource Group, which is comprised of early career employees who are shaping the future of technology at HP. These are professionals who aren't too far removed from where you are right now, which makes their perspective especially valuable. Now I'm going to turn it over to our three incredible panelists to introduce themselves. If you could share your name, your role, and a brief overview of your career journey, maybe what inspired you to tech. Let's start with MaryKate.
Sure. Great to meet you, everyone. Thanks for coming and dialing in, I suppose. I am MaryKate Mahoney, and I am an AI Partnerships Development Manager at HP. So I work with third parties to develop technology on edge devices as opposed to wholly cloud solutions. And there's a reason why we look to the edge, and I can get into that if there is interest. I actually joined HP as an intern, as an MBA intern between my first and second year of my full-time MBA, and then I returned as a full-time employee. I've had a variety of careers, I would say, within HP. I started on the healthcare team. I had some different roles within the healthcare team. I was able to travel the world with that job. That was a super fun one. During the pandemic, I was the chief of staff for the software group. Also a totally different perspective, understanding kind of how decisions are made at the top and impact the whole rest of the organization down the chain. And I've been on the product design team in research operations, And in my current role, I'm doing the partnership development management. So kind of spanned a lot of different roles, met a lot of great people internally and externally to HP. And I'm really enjoying, and what keeps me interested in technology is how the digital space and the physical space are transforming together, how they rely on each other, how one impacts the other, and how to do it sustainably is truly a driving motivator for me. So.
That's amazing you've had that much experience in just 9 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Harry?
Hi everyone, I'm Harry Khan, a products manager at HP retail team. My team is focused on building AI solutions for retailers all over the world. I studied mechanical engineering and began my career as a mechanical engineer at an automotive company in China. After moving to the US, I worked at two startups, one from Series B to E, the other was Series A, before returning to school to get my master's degree in business at UCLA. The inspiration for me to get in tech is I'm always curious about how product is built and the positive impact technology can make on the society.
Wonderful.
Hi everyone, my name is Swetha. I'm a product data analyst at HP. I've been at HP for around 2 years total. I started off as a contract employee and then became full-time around a year in. Prior to that, I was a new graduate. I had my master's degree in business analytics, but then prior to that, I actually got a bachelor's degree in marketing. So I did a complete sort of career flip from a business degree into more of a tech field. But I've been really liking integrating both into my job role because you really do need to have that business acumen in order to apply data to solutions. I would say my job is like ever changing. What I do now is completely different from what I was doing last year, but I really have been enjoying my time at HP.
Wonderful. Thank you all for those wonderful introductions. It's clear we have a panel with diverse experiences and perspectives. I'm excited to dive deeper into your work and what makes HP a dynamic place to build a career. So I will get to the questions. All right. Okay. So we'll start off with MaryKate. How would you describe HP's mission and the organization's impact on combining cutting-edge technology with social impact and sustainability?
Yeah, I would say that is a core component of how HP shows up in the market. The mission statement from HP is to create technology that makes life better for everyone, everywhere. And HP really does make investments to bring that to life in a variety of ways. So HP has a net zero commitment by 2040. Their commitment is to have net zero greenhouse gas emissions across our whole value chain by then. As well, we are powering 100% of our global operations with renewable energy, and that will be fully green by 2035. So we're well on the way. And I actually was at HP when they started that transformation in our headquarters office in Palo Alto, and there were some really meaningful changes they made to even the employee experience, and not even just into our products themselves. HP also has leadership in something called the circular economy. So instead of putting things in a landfill, we take devices back and we reuse as many of the components as possible, recycle and upcycle different things. So that's a core component as well to our strategy. There are new programs coming online called HP Renew. You can kind of buy refurbished devices very easily that are basically like new but have been previously owned. And we incorporate ocean-bound plastics into, I think, over 40% of our portfolio across personal systems and print. And if I say PS at some point, I apologize. HP loves acronyms, and PS means personal systems. That just means the computer side of the business. HP also has a program called HP Life, where we partner with NGOs and today have reached 65 million people since 2021. and plan to reach 150 million by 2030. As well, we have digital hubs in 14 different countries, and so that's helping people who generally don't have as much access to technology get access to that technology and upskill through the technology. So it is a real high focus, and HP is very proud of the fact that we're ranked among the most just and sustainable and focused on social impact companies in the world. So it's about how do we make our products improve, but think about the legacy that we're leaving on the world behind us, and how do we bring the whole world along on the journey with us. So
That's beautiful. I mean, honestly, that feels rare in Fortune 500, so it must be nice to work for an organization where
I
you
agree.
can feel good about the footprint that's being left. Harry, what inspired you to pursue a career in project management and AI, and how has your journey unfolded from startups to HP?
When ChatGPT launched in November 2022, I was in the middle of searching for a job post MBA, and I soon realized that like AI will reshape the future. So I made a decision that I would only work in AI space. At that time, I didn't have any experience in AI. I just, took a few like AI classes. That was the only thing I knew about AI. But I was determined. I only applying for like AI positions. Luckily, someone took a chance on me and gave me, an opportunity at an AI company. So in terms of, my transition from startups to HP, I would say the experience has been like interesting and also like eye-opening. Like when you work at the startups, you need to worry about, fundraising, custom outreach, and survival, like almost every day. But at HP, like we already have like a huge custom base and a trusted brand, which means like we can work on like a more like impactful programs. But at the same time, it means that we will move at a slower pace compared to startups. That's just how build companies, big companies like HP are built. Like we are not built to take board risks like startups do. But we do like have opportunity to make a big impact. For example, the problems my team is working on to solve, like can literally like impact retails like all over the world, like everywhere in the globe.
Curious about those programs. Okay. Swetha, what's a typical day like in your product data analyst role at HP, and how do you support cross-functional teams?
This might be a little bit of an annoying answer, but I don't think there is a typical day as a data analyst. What I do today is completely different from what happens tomorrow or the day before. There are certain days where I'd be a complete hermit, not talking to one person, maybe just knees deep in working with data, trying to mine data. And then other days I have no time to even touch my computer because I'll be in meetings working with various teams instead. So like the day really just depends on what objectives need to get done. And I think within working in a data analyst position, there are just so many different things that need to get done. And that also does relate to like the teams that we work cross-functionally, because that really drives the work that we do. The teams within HP are our stakeholders. When I'm making any sort of decisions with data, it is in terms of what these cross-functional teams need answered, and I use the data to help them answer that really. So the questions that like a product person might have are completely different from what a person on a development team might need, and the answers have to look completely different. But I really like that aspect of the job because what I work on this quarter is completely different from last quarter in terms of my objectives. The job is ever changing, so I don't feel like I'm stagnant in the role really. And then even though I'm positioned in this whole PS software sort of space, I don't just work on software analytics. I'm also working with the business organization, even with the print teams. So you really do get to engage with a lot of various people in the company that I personally really enjoy.
Oh, nice. I mean, it just sounds like you never have a dull moment.
Yeah.
It's not boring at all. All right. Harry, can you tell us about your educational pathway? I think you briefly mentioned it. What degrees, certifications, or experiences were most valuable in your project management role?
Yeah, now too. I want to say like both my engineering and business degrees like helped me in different ways. And like the engineering degree like taught me like how to think logically, and also like it's given me like a solid understanding of like how products are built, which is very valuable to in terms of what I do every day. In terms of my business degree, I think first like it taught me how business works. Like in the past, when I was an engineer, the only thing I care about was to build this product. I didn't think about how to sell, like why we even need to build a product. But as a product manager, that is something I need to think about every day. Why we need to build this product, how we are going to sell it, and how to generate the revenue, how this product is going to benefit, all internal and also external stakeholders. And on top of that, I want to say, like my business degree also helped me improve one of the most important skills for product manager, which is communication. As you can tell, I'm not from this country. I was very shy before I went back to school, did my business degree. Like I'm not a shy person in terms of personality. The reason I was shy before business school was because I didn't have confidence. Because my accent, also, I didn't have any educational experience in this country. But I would say MBA really gave me the confidence to interact with people, and also give me the confidence that when I come across a problem, I will figure out how to solve that problem, even though I don't have the answer at that moment. So I understand both engineering and business degree help him a lot.
That sounds like they work hand in hand, and yeah, you knew you had the technical skills before, but I could understand how communication is key kind of in any role where you have to interact with others. All right. So, MaryKate, how important has leadership development and partnership building been in your career progression in the tech industry?
Yeah, I actually think this goes really well with your answer because I think kind of from the examples you give and how I was thinking about this question, you really can't be successful in business without other people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how much you know if you don't have buy-in from stakeholders or you don't have people seeing your vision, you can only get so far. Mm-hmm. So I think in terms of, leadership development, how to think strategically when you get in a room with people who are trying to solve the same problem and you're hearing what piece they're thinking about, it's a perspective you could never have access to because they have different deliverables, they have different management chain, things that they're worried about, but it is influencing the things that you're doing. And so it helps you kind of take a step back, think strategically, understand all of these perspectives. The other piece that I think is really critically important, especially in a very large or matrix organization like HP, is cross-functional collaboration. I feel like that's like a buzzword or something, but it really becomes important to do anything. In my role, I'm working with technical consultants, product managers, marketing, new product introduction teams, go-to-market, finance, governance teams for onboarding vendors. Like, I have to go talk to everyone. I need their buy-in, and I need them to do something for me. So they have other things on their list of things to do, and I also need to be a priority on their list. So building relationships, maintaining relationships. I've been at HP 9 years. I'm actually surprised I've never met both of my co-panelists until today, because I do feel like I have a very big extended network at HP. And each time I've made a career move since I've been at HP, it's been through, the long tail of whatever relationships I've built previously, and that's been opening a door for me for my next thing. And it's allowed me to say, like, oh, I'm interested in this, I don't want to do that anymore, and giving me that flexibility. I think kind of then looking outside of the company, it's a similar problem that you need to get people to care about HP. And so for me, I've done a lot of third party outside the company. I want you to work with us. We want to go to market and solve a customer problem using whatever we're using. And those relationships have to develop over time. You need them to invest dollars. And if it's a startup, that's a really big deal that they're going to spend $1 doing something I'm asking them to versus something that was previously on their list that they had considered to be important. So definitely understanding where other people are coming from, what's on their priority list. When you come in, really hot and you're like, hey, do this now, it's going to put people on their heels, even if it's the best idea. So just being mindful of how you introduce ideas, how you're taking in perspectives. I think it's really important in a business role like I'm in, and probably in many career paths, to keep that in mind as you're progressing. And then one other plug, kind of just for the group that I'm here through, is the Next Gen group of leaders. I'm not totally sure what it's called, but we have a lot of business impact network groups. So I love participating on our sustainability group activities, and I like it for not only the work we're doing, but also the people I meet, because I'm also meeting people, leaders from across different areas of the business. I have no reason to know them except through these other kind of touch points and interest areas of mine, that they have overlapping interests. So yeah, that's how I would think about leadership development and partner development building.
Yeah, and it's not too early now to be thinking about that, to be thinking about like building your network and making connections and figuring out people that are like-minded or maybe willing to support you and mentor you. Like, now's the time to start thinking about those things. Mm-hmm. All right. So, Harry, tell us about the AI initiatives and exciting projects HP is currently working on, particularly solutions that bridge hardware and software.
Yeah, I love talking about the AI solutions we are building. Before I joined HP, I thought like HP was mostly about PCs and printers. But after I joined the company, I learned that HP has a 500 million revenue business in point-of-sale machines. So point-of-sale machine is the like checkout box. When you go to a retail like Starbucks, you buy a coffee, that puts like what you buy and how much, give you a receipt. That is called point-of-sale machine. Actually, HP has the largest market share globally in that space. Like a lot retail companies, like Starbucks, TJ Maxx, Macy's, not you name it, like use our point-of-sale machines. Which means there are a lot of opportunities in that space, because currently like we only sell like hardware solutions to them. Like we want to like build AI solutions and generate a recurring revenue for the company. And one solution we are working on right now is computer vision. Is basically like we put cameras. Actually, like most like retail stores, like in the US, already have some kind of like security cameras. Mm-hmm. We pull that data and connect. We call that unstructured data, like audio and video. I call it like unstructured data because there is no structure attached to that. Like we pull that data and combine it with structured data. Structured data is like when you go to a store, have the receipt, it has what you buy and how much it costs, and that's like that kind of data has a rule, so we call it structured data. So what they do is put together unstructured data together with the structured data, and to generate like a value out of it. And one application is like, for example, like when you go to TJ Maxx, like our solution can tell TJ Maxx, how many customers come to the store and how much time they spend, which aisle they spend most of the time, and do they make the purchase decision when they leave the store. And we keep track of all that information, and then give some kind of recommendations to TJ Maxx. Oh, maybe you need to put this kind of products in this aisle instead of that aisle. Like this product they sell the most, maybe you need to put more here. So these are some like AI solutions like we are building right now. As HPE has a largest market share in this space. We really believe like we can make a big impact in that space a few years down the road.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you guys are really going to be helping some organizations with being able to better market to us and give us a better experience, it sounds like. So that's incredible. Okay. Swetha, can you share advice for students interested in transitioning into data analytics or tech roles?
Yeah. My background is also is in sort of a business space, and I think if you are transitioning from a business role into more of a tech role, I think you might actually sometimes have an upper hand, because a lot of the things that and I think this is a recurring trend with a lot of the things that we're saying, but you can't be just so tech focused. You need to be able to apply what you're doing with technology to a business solution, because that's how you make an impact. If you're trying to transition into a tech role, maybe I shouldn't speak about tech roles because there are just so many, but if you're trying to transition into a data analyst role, I think the main foundational skills you would need are stats, for sure. You would need a foundation in statistics, maybe in terms of coding, SQL, Python, and R. And then besides that, visualization sort of experience. But the business acumen is something that you would need inherently in order to apply anything. And these skills you can get online. I got it from a master's degree, but you can use any of the resources online in order to actually get it. That'll help you a lot in terms of transitioning into a tech role.
Okay, awesome. And the next one, it's for Harry, but since it's the last question, we can also open it up if others have thoughts. What skills do you believe will be the most valuable for success in the tech and AI industry over the next decade?
That's a really good question. I think about it every day. I think at this point, it's very obvious that like AI will take over a lot of repetitive tasks. Like for example, coding. Like nobody writes codes from scratch now. Like almost everybody uses AI. Like data entry and documentation. Like in the past, as a product manager, like I needed to take notes at meetings. I haven't done that since ChatGPT was launched. Like most people don't take notes. Like if you go to the hospital, you can tell like doctors spend more time with you because they don't take notes anymore. Like all the notes are taken by AI in their laptops. So on that end, like that might like reshape like a lot of technical tech positions. But I do believe that like softer skills will have an even like stronger demand. Such as like communication, like, when you work at a company, no matter small or big, like it's very important, for you first, for you to get along with people. And second, as a product manager, like I don't have authority, which means like everybody on my team doesn't report to me, but I need to figure out how to influence them to put the team together to get things done and build a product. And another one is presentation. I believe it applies to all us. We need to, present to a lot of people, both internally to tell them what we do, why we do it, and how we do it, and also to external partners, like why this product matters to them, like what they can benefit from it. So I do believe like the softer skills, will be like maybe even be more important down the road.
Thank you. All right, so okay, here we are. This is the slide I was looking for. So thank you for sharing such valuable insights. Before we open it up to questions from our audience, I'd like to give each of you a chance to share a final thought. If you could leave our students with one essential key skill or takeaway that you want them to remember as they build their careers, what would that be? And we can go from left to right. MaryKate, or
Sure.
right to left, I should say.
Sure, I guess it's there, but it depends on
Depends
who
on
you
the
ask.
perspective.
Yeah. Sure. So I think that my number one takeaway is to think about your career and being adaptable to the changing environment. I did a career pivot to go from working in hospitality to working in tech, and I was told, I made my bed. You can't go from hospitality to tech. And that turns out you can do that. But you have to have somebody on the other side who believes in you. And you have to understand what are the things that you bring to the table that are your strengths, and how do you grow? How do you advance those? There's a phrase within HP that I often hear called growth mindset. And HP gives a lot of opportunities to continue your education in a number of ways. I just did a ML university course, kind of going deep in the background of ML, how decisions are made, how models are trained, coming up with an idea of my own. It directly is in line with what I'm doing with my role, but also helping me grow and understand and continue to evolve my own mindset. And so I think if you're able to adapt and be situationally aware and just kind of keep up curiosity in whatever truly that you're curious in, that will set you apart alone. A lot of people that I know are really good at one thing, and that's great. And I actually love having those people on my team. I'm like, wow, I know I can always go to you to, go through the Excel file and find the nugget within the Excel file I'm looking for. But that person doesn't necessarily want to go then do the next thing. And if you want to advance, if you want to be very good in one thing, yeah, go get all the skills there, go really deep, make sure that you're the expert in whatever the areas you want. If you want to go, and I'm kind of like, hey, after I've had a little bit of time here, I'm going to go look over there. I'm tired of learning about this, now I want to go over there. That adaptability really helps. And that's, I think, the key takeaway from me.
Hey, MaryKate. Harry?
I think being courageous, and don't set a limitation for yourself, and also don't let anybody set limits for you. Like looking back, like I remember when I just moved to the US from China. At the beginning, during interviews, like some people told me like, I think you should go back to China. I don't think you will never be able to land a product manager job in this country. But I didn't give up. Like looking back, I have worked as a product manager at both startups and also bigger company like HP. And when you are, so my personal experience, when you are courageous and you are determined to do something, people around you can feel it. And a lot of people want to help you. Like the help I have got along the way.
Thank you.
I would say if you're in college, try a lot of things out. Don't try to be closed off into like one path. I remember when I was an undergrad, I was like, I'm going to be in marketing. I want marketing communications. I don't want to go outside of this. And then I'm doing completely different work now. And it's mainly because I landed random internship opportunities that were completely outside of my comfort zone. And that sort of led me to the path that I'm in. So if you're a lot more closed off to things that you think like, oh, I'm probably not good at, or I probably don't want to do, or I'm probably not, gonna like in the future, you're actually closing yourself off to opportunities that might actually be of interest to you. So try out a lot of things, join clubs, any ways that you can get any form of experience, do, and you'll probably end up finding like a good path for yourself, honestly.
Thank you all. Those are some powerful messages to take with us. So now it's your turn. We have some time for questions. So whether you're in person or joining us virtually, this is your chance to ask our panelists anything. For those in the room, please raise your hand and you'll be brought a microphone. For virtual attendees, please type your question in the chat and we'll ask it out loud for you to the panelists. Do you have questions?
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Hi. I just want to say that you guys' last answer was very inspirational to me. I am a mother of 2 boys, and I've been working for the post office for almost 10 years, but I'm so in love with tech, and I really want to get into that aspect of tech. So I wanted to know, like as far as abroad and studying abroad, do you guys have any people that, like any people from this country that go outside of this country and kind of represent you guys' company?
Yeah, so HP has offices all over the world. So that's one thing. But we also have rotational programs where you can be in HR, for example, and over a year you go to different offices within the U.S. and you can go to our office in Singapore, you can go to our office in London, and you spend 6 months, 8 months there, living and working there. A lot of folks within HP take roles as like a country manager, but they're not from that country, so they're getting exposure, and we're kind of like trading leadership across the world. So it's kind of being passed back and forth. So that is definitely a path. Actually, somebody on my team moved here from Barcelona because she had a vision. She wanted to work in the Bay Area. What were companies local in Barcelona that could get her to where she wanted to go? HP was on her list. She got the job that she didn't love at HP, but then from there she moved into the role that she's in now, and she was able to move and live in the Bay like she intended. So the path may not always be straight, but there are definitely opportunities. And I would say, especially if I think it's from my perspective, and not every company is like this. HP, I think, is a little bit unique where, after a couple of years in a role, they want you to go do something else. And so within HP, it's like, hey, just get a job, whatever the one is, make the connections you have there, and then go do the next thing that you want. It's much easier to move once you're already inside the company than from the outside in.
Okay, nice. And I wanted to ask another question as far as your internships. Is there a certain age limit? Because I'm a little older. I was born in '89, so you guys can figure. But is there an age limit, or is it just you guys welcome anyone that wants to?
Yeah, there's no age limit. I think that there are requirements around how many hours you're taking based on what type of internship that you're applying to. But we have internships for undergrad level, graduate level, PhD level. Depending on what country you're in, sometimes the internships are years long. Sometimes, it really just depends. And if you have skills that you want to bring and have them at HP, then there are paths available, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for someone who has pursuing a major in computer information. You guys are really inspiring, and I just want to thank you so much for just taking the time out to come. I appreciate all three of you guys. Thank you.
You kind of asked most of my questions.
Oh,
No, I think I have another one. You just press the button.
no, it's already on.
Oh, it's already on. Hello, I had a question. How do I say your name? Sorry.
Swetha.
Swetha, I had a question. So I just got my undergraduate degree last year. I also was in marketing, but I actually changed to business management. And now I'm kind of in a similar path where like I kind of want to go more into like data or more into like tech in that way. I was just kind of wondering for you, because you said you did like a master's program. How did you kind of like face that with like the skills that you had prior, like with your undergraduate degree, and then applying it? Because obviously right now the job market is not very great for undergraduate students. Like I was able to find a job last year in like a few months, but now like with some of my younger friends, like barely any of them have a job right now, frankly. And so I'm just kind of wondering like what skills did you really try to prioritize, and like what kind of made you stand out a little more, you think?
Yeah. I would say I would have to go back to undergrad. The main internships that made me sort of want to do more data analytics work were my market research internships. So yes, you're doing marketing, but you're realistically looking at data within a certain field in order to apply it to marketing. And a lot of that is very analytical. A lot of that is very logic driven. Afterwards, I ended up getting another internship role. It was a pricing intern role where a lot of it, again, was very business related in terms of we were working on a lot of their pricing models, but I was working on the data mining aspect of their pricing models. So it's like slowly inching towards a more technical field, but the center is still business. The drive of these projects are still business. In terms of what stands like out in like an actual interview for a data role or a tech role, it would actually be the business acumen aspect. A lot of people can go into an interview and maybe code for 30 minutes and be perfect, pass a LEET code test, 100%, right? But if you don't actually know what to do with that code afterwards, if you don't really know how to make a model and then figure out what kind of insights that model might drive afterwards, that's not really going to be, that's not a realistic application in an interview. So I think one of the things that made me stand out when I was interviewing at HP in particular was the fact that I wasn't just working on the data models, but then I was also applying it to a specific solution. And I was able to have the understanding of what the impact of the solution was. And that also made it like a lot more like, oh, you're like more well-rounded in this field. That really makes a difference, I think.
Then I had one more question for MaryKate. You said you had like a lot of variety of roles within HP. Another career I've kind of been interested in, it's like relative to this, but not specifically within the three roles I see here, is did you ever have any experience in like project management at HP?
Yes, there's a lot of aspects of project management in a lot of different roles.
Yeah, I was just going to ask with that. When I research that field, it's kind of vague in a way to me, like what type of skills you really need to kind of get into it. Like I've been taking like the Google like certificate project management course, and then I've heard of like some other ones as well. I was just wondering if you knew anything about that, and like what you would recommend for maybe people trying to get into project management.
Yeah, I almost feel Harry is a better, maybe has more information on that. I would say it matters less exactly probably the credential that you have, and more so that you're demonstrating that you have the interest, and that's something then a little bit of a different aspect from when I was doing a career pivot from the background in hospitality to a career in tech, is like, what did I do along the way to prove that was my interest, and kind of what are the things that I'm doing to make the jump that I can point to and mean. The other piece, and it's not exactly what you asked me, but I feel like it's important to say, in my experience, it's really hard to get an interview. And then you only have however much time you have with the person that's interviewing you, and then it's over, and then you have to wait to hear from them, and that's miserable, right? And you're like, did I say anything? Oh God, like, I don't know. One of the questions, and I haven't interviewed in a long time, but when I was interviewing for my internship at HP, I remember asking specifically at the end of my interview, is there anything that gives you pause, or you have any outstanding questions about my skills and my ability to do the job that we haven't covered here today? And the person who ended up hiring me said, yeah, you don't have any of the skills that I'm looking for. Your background is like totally not correct. And it gave me the chance to say, yeah, but I know I can do the job. And actually, so the person who hired me as an intern, she took a chance on me. Then when I came back, I was on a different team, on a healthcare team, like my favorite team I've ever been on ever in the world. And I've gone through different iterations within HP. I'm actually back on the team with the woman that hired me originally. I'm a step level below her, but it's kind of like crazy to end up back on her team. And I asked her, why did you do that? Like, why did you hire me? Like, you didn't have to. And she said, yeah, but I believed you when you said you could do it. So you take the chance to pause it and make sure that you're leaving it with, that you get kind of the last word that you want to get in there. Whatever that message is that you want to land, give yourself a chance to say it. Don't just hang up the phone, would be my advice as well.
That is another question I usually ask at the interview as well. I'm more than happy to add a little bit about like project management. In terms of certification, I have one in, it's called PMP, Project Management Professional. Like some companies do require that, but that's just something nice to have. It's not a hard requirement. In terms of how to stand out during the interview, as a project manager, your goal is to complete the project. Very simple. But in terms of how to do that, you as a project manager, most of the time you don't do it by yourself. You have a team, and you don't have authority. You don't define how much they make and what's their bonuses by the end of the year. So during the interview, you need to demonstrate your ability to influence people, and also your ability to get things done during tough times. So you can show your past experience of leading some club events, or some tough school projects you worked on, and you took leadership on that project.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a question from online.
Yes, we actually have several questions
Wonderful.
online. So the first piece is there still a strong need for IT support roles? And is there specific certifications that you can identify, like A++, cybersecurity, or anything else that you can recommend?
I would say IT roles are highly sought after today, because especially with the introduction of AI into the work environment, there are many, many concerns with data access, data governance, governance of external vendors that are accessing your data, how you're making projects and programs and things available to your employees, what's on the endpoint device, what isn't on the endpoint device. When you're doing fleet management, how are you thinking about keeping a healthy fleet? What are your plans? What's your business continuity plan? IT is kind of at the center. IT is secretly probably the main decision maker in most organizations about their technology, even today. So somebody in a C-suite role can say, hey, I want XYZ, but if IT can't make it happen, that's going to block them at the door. So there's many roles within IT. Cyber is a huge one. They're the bane of my existence. because I onboard external vendors into the company, and we go through privacy, third-party risk assessment, we go through cyber, third-party risk assessment, we look at the architecture of how information's being passed, we understand kind of the whole life cycle of how a product is used, and IT is the one in the middle giving us the green flag or giving us the red flag. So critically important IT roles, yeah.
Any specific certifications aside from cybersecurity that you mentioned?
Specific certifications I would not be as familiar with. I'm trying to think. I don't know any off the top of my head, sorry. Coming from HP, I feel like I should have a better answer. Do we have a better answer? I don't know. I don't think we do. We're not, they're the man behind the curtain at our company, so I don't know.
Thank you. Another question is similar to what somebody asked earlier. What's the prospect like for an older college grad student looking to switch fields?
The prospect. So you bring to the table a diverse perspective that is appreciated no matter what that perspective is that you're bringing, if you believe that that perspective is valuable at bringing it to the table. And I've had experiences even within HP where I show up on a team and they've been thinking about things one way and being rather successful at it. And then I just ask a question that I have because I'm like, oh, have you considered this? And it's like, whoa, we had never even thought about that, you know? So you have no idea the power that you hold, the vast experience that you have, and you, I'm certain, have transferable skills from one role to another. And I talk to a lot of my friends who feel stuck in their careers or their jobs about what are your transferable skills? What are the things that you can take and then go be successful in something else, applying the same kind of mindset? Because no matter where you go, you can go to a job and think you know how to do everything, but then that team does it a certain way, and you have to be flexible to adapt to the way they do it anyways. So as long as you're willing to learn and ask for help, but also be confident that you can bring something to the table, I think that it's not easy. I'm not saying like, oh, of course, doors are all open, you know, like you do need someone on the other side to open the door for you. But I think in my personal experience, I've had more success through the network that I have and being able to demonstrate my success with many different stakeholders over time, which have then come back for me later to open new doors for me. So.
Just to add to your comment, like I do believe like AI gives everybody a second chance, a new chance to learn new skills, because AI is so new. Like ChatGPT was launched in 2022. We are still at the very beginning of AI era. Like there are a lot of new skills like we can learn, and there will be so many like new positions in AI that will be created in future that don't even exist nowadays. So just don't let anything hold you back.
Thank you. I'm going to ask another question, and I guess this it's to kind of give a little bit more background on what the question about the older adult and switching fields. So this specific person says that they have a bachelor's in communication studies, and they have experience with project coordination, but they want to switch into IT roles. However, they do feel alienated being at 40 years of age. Is there any feedback, any recommendations that you can give them to help with this transition? Aside from like the certifications that you mentioned, cybersecurity and AI, is there anything else that comes up to mind?
My gut reaction is once you're working, no one knows. Like, we can't see your resume when you're walking around the building. So it, it doesn't matter to me how long someone's been working in a specific area if they're helpful to me in what I need them to be right then. And there's always people, like you've already mentioned, there's always people willing to help. So I do understand the hesitancy to say like, hey, I don't want to be so green when I show up, but you're not, the way that I perceive people is when you're younger, you have a different perspective about what's important and how do you do the work and what are the questions you ask. When you're older, even newer to a role, you have like a different life experience. You don't run into the same things as someone brand new in their career who is younger run into. So even if you're new in the career, you still have this maturity that a fresh out of college person wouldn't. So it's not as clear because a lot of people change roles and do brand new things, and everybody has to take that time to learn and grow. So it's like it matters less if you're in the door. Like it's fine as long as you're willing to ask questions, I guess.
Just to add to that a little, I would say like really utilize your network because you have an invisible network that you don't even know you have. Go on LinkedIn, reach out to people, try and learn from others, even if it's just a conversation about, I want to understand your experiences from various IT professionals. Try and reach out to people because building that network and building that foundation is really what's going to get someone to trust that you're able to do a role that is completely different from the past. So as long as you're able to really build that network with people, you'll get at least one foot in the door somewhere. And that'll really help you like boost your experience.
Yeah, and go out there, attend IT events, and tell people like, hey, I have the skill, I want a job. How can I help?
Yeah.
Tell people what you want. You don't know what you will get.
Yeah.
Sometimes life will surprise you.
Yeah, tell people what you want. I think that's really important.
So this participant specifically wants to thank you for taking the time to answer the question. There's another question. So this participant is seeking an entry-level jobs with an associate degree in computer science. Is there any roles that you can think of that this person can enter, and how would they find them?
So yes, there are many roles depending on if you're coming in through an internship door or an entry-level job door. You're still going to go on the jobs.hp.com and you can sort by what level you're looking for, what type of role you're looking for. So I think that there are definitely opportunities within just that realm. I think sometimes where I have heard people get stuck is they have one job in mind that they want. And if they don't see that one job on the listing, then they're not looking anymore. But it might be interesting to just open roles that sound interesting at least, read through what the job description is, read through what the skills are that they're looking for, because you might be surprised to learn, oh, I actually have like 60, 70, 80% of what they are looking for, and I think I can do the job. So even if it doesn't feel like the right fit, but it feels like something you could do well, it would be worth applying, especially if that's like the company that you're going after, or that you're willing to do something that's like doesn't tick all your dream board lists or something. So I don't know other than that.
Yeah, besides the like official channel, like you can go to any company's website, go to career page, and then search through all the positions. Another way you can try is to reach out to people on LinkedIn. Like when I was a graduate student, every week I called, email people who were working at the companies I was interested in. And most people got back to me, like at least for a coffee chat to share, what does that do? And, what kind of skill that we're looking for in a candidate. So, put yourself out there and like reach out to people.
I would say for HP in particular, I've noticed that we have a very strong community of interns, so that might be a good place to start. I joined a very new team, and this year in particular, we have 4 new employees in my team that were all interns last year and got return offers. So that's like a really good sort of path at HP that is an option. So maybe start there, reach out to people.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
I just have one more question.
Olivia, are you coming around with a mic?
And then I'll come back to, there's a couple more online. Okay.
That's fine.
I just wanted to ask you guys to express how important it is to get out there and network, because a lot of these young kids, they live behind the computer and they feel like just their credentials is enough to get them to where they're going. So can you guys express to them how important it is to reach out for a mentor and important it is to get out there and network and be seen? Because a lot of people think that just on their degree that is just enough, and sometimes it's just not. Because I have friends who's good at Python, who's good at coding, they're like, I didn't get the job, and I'm like, were you talking? And they're like, and I was like, well, so can you guys express to them how important that is for the young people out here today?
I can start off. I didn't get this job by applying to a role. I got it through networking with people, and they started a new initiative, and I had a conversation with a director level at HP named Phil, who was working on a application called AI Companion, and needed someone to work on data analytics. And from that conversation, he opened up a contract position for me. So that's how I got in. So networking is important. That I cold applied several times prior, and I'm sure the job market now is even worse than it was when I was applying too. So you do need to network. It is a necessary thing. Even the job that I currently have is different from my contract position, and I'm in a new department, but the way that I got this job was by interacting with another organization and a director at that organization who was creating an analytics team, and then was like, oh, I've noticed that you've done a lot of work with analytics, I want you on the team. So it's really a matter of like how you market yourself as a professional in a company. It doesn't matter realistically about yes, you need the cold skills, of course. But at the same time, like how you market yourself does really take you like miles in comparison.
Yeah, I will add on. There was an intern on my team last year, and I go to networking events all the time. I just go. I mean, I go for my job, but like also I'm like, what's going on out here? Who's out here? What's going on? I don't know. I want to see what's going on. So I just go to things, and they're free. Sometimes they give me free dinner. I'm like, okay. So you don't know until you get there what you're gonna find. So I brought my team's intern last year, and this one happened to be close enough to the office to walk. So as we're going, he's like asking me, do you go do these a lot? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm like exhausted at the end of the day, but I'm like, yeah, I do them a lot. And he's like, well, I only go when I have a reason for it. And I was really struck by that because I'm like, you don't know what the reason is that you're going yet. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what you're going to learn. You don't know that the person that's staying there isn't going to offer you a better job than you have right now. So like, yeah, just go and get in front of people. And I would say don't go, at least in my personal experience, like don't go with a hard agenda to be like, what jobs you have open, like I hate when people do that to me. So if you just show up and you ask good questions, you're curious about what they're doing, if you do truly find something interesting that they're saying, ask a good follow-up question, stay in touch so you can reach out to them on LinkedIn. I'm much more likely to respond to you on LinkedIn if I've met you in person. And also if you send me a good LinkedIn message, I can tell if someone's like spamming 1,000 people the same message, you can tell. But if you're reading it and you know that that they're like actually interested in what you're doing or your experience, or they're telling you something like, yeah, then I'm totally willing to give you my time. But yeah, I think you can do, this is my personal opinion, and my parents are both teachers. So like growing up, my parents were like, get your education, that's all you need, like that's your ticket. And I'm like, oh, says you, who are teachers. Like truly, I think that you can do everything you can, but if someone's not standing on the other side of the door to open it for you, you're gonna be out there in the cold for a long time. So you really gotta find a warm body on the other side of the door that's willing to open it for you. And I think all of us have had an experience in this panel, it sounds like, that someone took a chance on us. And I think that's more common than you might think.
And someone else had a question?
Yeah.
Did you still have your question, sir? Oh, yeah. Oh, there you are.
Hi there. My name is Abril. This could be directed just to everyone, but mainly it can be for, am I pronouncing it correctly, for Swetha? Yeah. How are deadlines and communication between different teams handled? So essentially, how do you delegate, based on different objectives and the fast pace of, your career?
It's really case by case and stakeholder by stakeholder. I've had moments where we have had L1 level, executives saying, hey, we need these metrics today. And I'd be up very late getting those metrics to them. And that's like, you are told that needs to happen. But in like a more normal scenario, when you're working with a team, it's not really like I am a separate entity of an analytics team. It's more like I'm integrated into a new project. They have a whole team of product people, development people, and then you have the analytics folks who are also engaging with data engineers, people on privacy. So we're really integrating a lot of various teams together, and each of these teams have their own deadlines. A lot of them don't even work in the same process. Yes, we might have like 2-week sprints, but some people's sprints like end on Mondays and some people's sprints end on Wednesdays. And then if you're working cross-functionally, you have to be able to understand what the timelines are for each team. I would say like it's really just a matter of communication, making sure that your deliverables are very like straightforward. What do I need to get done and when do I need to get it done, and what are the implications of me getting this done realistically? And then from there, communicate what is possible, what is feasible, what is not possible right off the bat. It's really a matter, I think a lot of data analysts in particular that I have also engaged with, or not data analysts, but a lot of people try to beat around the bush, but with the tasks that we do, when it comes to like working with so many teams, you can't beat around the bush. You have to be like, this is what is possible. So it's, as long as you're straightforward of like what you're able to do, you're able to meet those deadlines and everything.
I would say as someone on the receiving end of those deliverables, if I don't have to chase you for it, I hold you in very high regard. There's a lot of competing priorities, right? So I think I said earlier, like, I also need to be on a priority list, and I'm well aware of that. But also, if I'm not getting information that I perceive to be easy, and I'm waiting on it, it's delaying me from being able to do other things, that's snowballing on my side in a way that maybe this person who's holding the keys like one piece, they don't necessarily see the whole picture. So I think about that a lot.
Yeah. So communication is realistically key.
Okay, I think we have time for this one last question online.
Yes, one last question. In terms of AI, is there specific degrees that come to mind that maybe a strong, align stronger than other degrees, or specific majors or certifications, or?
It's a good question. It's a broad question. So I would say, depending on what type of role that you want to go do, that will define what are the types of things that you're doing to reach that goal. So like a machine learning degree and being really able to get in the weeds and train a machine or understand a reward system for an AI model that you're working on or that you're fine tuning and really understanding those component pieces, well, then a machine learning degree is like infinitely helpful in getting that type of a role. If you're looking for more of like a business side case, like in the aspect of my role, I'm really trying to understand what's the overall architecture of how the program works, what is the customer problem that it's trying to solve, and in the cases where you're more applying the information, it's in my mind less having to do with what the degree is and more having to do with how you're able to transform and use information and demonstrate that you understand the concept. So whether that's like going to, like networking still is like going to a hackathon, you can build something and then you can put on your resume that you built something. Like that's huge. And then when you're in an interview and they're asking you about a problem, you can point to something that you have firsthand experience in building and touching and doing in AI. So there are kind of depending on how specific your target is, there are certainly, and there's like a ton of free courses online. Like Google has a ton of free courses, Microsoft has a ton of free courses. I've done like a course on like how to build an LLM. It was like a 6-week course. So is that like you can find plenty of resources and then go apply them and have something to speak to. That is huge, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. Like first, think about like which industry and the position you are most interested in. Like for example, if you want to become like an AI product manager or AI project manager, there are so many free like courses online you can take. Besides learning, and doing is also very important. Like just build something. On your own. Like AI has made it very easy for everybody to do that. So you can put it on your resume to show that as your achievement.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of the great questions, and let's give our HP panelists a big round of applause. MaryKate, Harry, and Swetha, thank you for your time, your insights, and your commitment to supporting the next generation tech professionals. Students, these panelists may be around for a few more minutes if you'd like to connect with them individually. We're now going to transition to our career services resume workshop. Whether you're staying in person or continuing virtually, you'll learn practical strategies for creating a resume to get you noticed and get past the barriers that are there to get through sometimes. I'm thrilled to introduce Catherine Fonseca, our career services coordinator, and she'll walk you through everything you need to know about building an effective resume. Catherine, take it away. She's closing the Zoom.
Thank you so much. This was so great. I was taking notes.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coordinating the questions online.
Yeah, of course. There was a lot of good questions. Yeah. All right. Can you all hear me okay? Yes? Okay. We only have about 14 minutes or so. If you want to stay for a quick resume workshop, I'm just going to jump into it. You do have information about building your resume in your packet as well. We're probably not going to have enough time to go everything, so I will encourage you to reach out to Career Services in SAB 227. We're right above the Culinary Arts Department, so if you need help. So just really quick, Does anybody know how long an employer looks at your resume?
Ooh, I would say like maybe seconds to 1 minute.
Seconds to 1 minute? What'd you say? Seconds, yeah, about 6 to 7 seconds. So because of that, to be competitive, you want to make sure that you make your resume easy to read, easy to follow, and be concrete and concise with your information. So once again, because of the sake of time, these are the different parts of the resume that you should include in a resume. A header, which has your contact information, objective or professional summary. Education, which will include your degrees, graduation date. Experience, this is where you will include jobs, internships, volunteer work. Any skill set, hard skills or soft skills. We had an opportunity to hear a little bit about some of the soft skills like communication, like team building, like project management. So those are things that if you do have that skill set, you can put it under the skill section. And then any other projects, leadership activities, or certifications or awards that you might have earned. Like I said, because of the sake of time, I'm going to go through it really quick. As you can see here, the header of with your contact information has your name, your email, your phone number. If you enter your address, don't enter the exact address, just the city and state because of safety purposes, okay? Now, if you're gonna include the objective or a professional summary, it should be very straightforward. So the objective will say something like, to obtain a position, to seek a position in, seeking a student ambassador's position in whatever team, right? Or if you're going to do also a professional summary, it could be a little bit more comprehensive. Just be mindful that you don't include I, me, or mine, no pronouns in that professional summary. Also, education. Include where you went to school, the city, state, and the degree or certification that you have earned. Okay. And it will look something similar like this. If the job or the internship that you're applying for requires a GPA, do enter it if it's above a 3.0. If it's below a 3.0, leave it out. Okay? Experience, when it comes to experience, it doesn't necessarily have to be paid experience. It could be volunteer, part-time, self-employment, internships. Okay, so any of that gives you some employability skills that you can add. That goes with what the HP was saying earlier. Those are those transferable skills that you bring from one industry to another. Okay. Like team building, communication, effective communication, right? Being able to articulate to your team what needs to be done by when and following through, right? Dependability. And kind of like the format, and like I said, you do have a packet sample in your folder, so you can look at that. Here I'm just highlighting really quick. One thing to keep in mind is that if you are ready to take your resume to a different level, if you look at this box below, you can see that the first bullet point has create and schedule 30 plus social media or 45%. And so if you want to take your resume to a different level, add a number. How much, how many, how often. Something quantifiable. Because you can say, yeah, coordinated events, okay? But you can also take it to a different level and say responsible for coordinating small events and large-scale events that range between 10 participants to 500 participants on a quarterly basis, right? So that you're showing that you have mastered that skill because you do it very often and you know how to work with small group of people and large group of people. The logistical needs are very different, right? So if you're ready to take your resume to a different level, add numbers, okay? How many, how much, how often. And it's not moving. Okay.
Probably need for that.
I know, mine's not moving. What? It's not doing anything? Oh, there you go. Okay. Campus involvement, also you can add it if you don't have a lot of experience. This is where you can include any student activities, any projects, any leadership skills. So let's say that you're transitioning from education into technology, right? You're taking IT courses. So this is where you can include your projects that you've done in your IT courses. Okay, because yeah, you're transitioning fields, but there's certain skill set that you are learning in IT that you can incorporate in your resume. Okay, so this is kind of like an overall example of what it looks like. Okay, community involvement, the same thing. Keep in mind that when you do your experience, it has to be in chronological order. That means that the most recent goes on top and you work your way back or down, okay? Do not use abbreviations. So if you did an internship for HP, spell it out, okay? Don't just put HP, okay? Yes. Skills. This is an opportunity for you to highlight certain skills. And the best way to highlight your skill set is to look at the job description and let the employer tell you what skill set they're looking for. If you have that skill set, then you put it on there. Okay? Because right now, what they're doing is, yeah, back in the day, and maybe some smaller companies, what they do is you turn in your resume and an actual person looks at it. Now it's not that. Now it's ATS. These are automated systems that it's artificial intelligence that will look at your resume, will look at the job description, and the job description has highlighted certain keywords that your resume has to have. Okay, so in order to bypass those systems, the ATS, you want to make sure that you identify those keywords, those key skill sets that the employer tells you that they're looking for, and you incorporate them if you have that skill set. Okay, and just here, this is an example of a very general resume. Once again, you have this as an example in your packet. And then I'm going to give you another resume that's a little bit more, perhaps this person has a lot more experience. This format you also have in your packet, okay? This format will help you bypass that ATS system. So once again, like I said, include certain verbiage, skill set, things that the employer is looking for. If you have that skill set, incorporate it into your resume. Okay. So you do have this information in the packet, but if you need help, please come to Career Services. We are located in SAB 227, right above the Culinary Arts, just across the way, second floor by the food pantry. We are open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Fridays, 9 to 1, and I do have appointments available in person and virtual as well. All you have to do is just come and schedule something, okay? And we'll help you develop that resume or enhance it or review it, update it. We're here to help you. Also, if you are going to be doing interviews for internships or job opportunities and you want to practice, we can definitely do that as well. Okay, because remember, one of the things that the panel say is how you market yourself. Okay, so you need to learn the skill set and the value that you bring to that team. Okay, yes, you have a question.
You guys help with LinkedIn?
I can definitely help you with LinkedIn. Yes, we do have some resources for that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm over 70.
Yes, you can definitely come in and we can talk about it. And that's a great thing to bring up because now you don't have to be seasoned, to be discriminated against. Now, I graduated from my bachelor's degree at this point, like 20 years ago, right? And there's certain techniques that are recommended not to on your resume that will not age you. So yeah.
And then remember what HP said. You have life opportunities or experiences that nobody else coming out of college will have. So that brings a lot of value because you have lived through so much, not just as a professional, but also as a possible consumer, right? So having that experience brings a lot of value. Yes, so don't be discouraged by your, age. Sorry, my accent. All right, so I know I did really fast because I want to be respectful of your time, but you do have us here to help you out, sit with you multiple times if you need it. You just have to make an appointment. All right? You're welcome. Thank you for staying, and hopefully I'll see you around.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Is
Thank
there any way that we can find the panel's LinkedIn? A lot